need you to stop everything and I need you to read this book and I need you to read it right now. This is everything that I read in October. I'm Nora McInerny. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a reader, and this is every book that I read in October and why I loved it, or perhaps why I didn't love it as much. Now, it's finally autumn, which means it's 86 degrees here in Phoenix, Arizona. We've made soup. I'm wearing a blazer. I've worn a sweater on several chilly mornings. This is the season for reading, the season for cuddling, the season for nostalgia and crying. I don't know how October already came and went, but that's life, baby. That is time. That is how it moves forward. So here is what I read this month. I'm starting with the most important book. I need you to stop everything and I need you to read this book and I need you to read it right now. It's called Heart the Lover. It absolutely wrecked me and I need everybody to read it so we can all talk about it. I want you to go out right now, stop watching this video, buy this book at your local bookstore, sit down, read it, cancel your entire day, but don't read it too fast because I also want you to enjoy it. I want you to savor it. I want you to weep to it. How does Lily King write so simply and yet give me the most complex, deep feelings? Do she and Catherine Newman belong to like a coven or something? How do they do this? I want in. This book is timeless. It is placeless, and yet it is everything. It is everywhere. You will be transported back to college or back to your younger years where you fell deeply in love for the first time, or maybe you didn't, but you almost did. You will see scenes that she barely describes. You will fill in every blank she leaves with your own memories, your own perceptions. You will, and this is a promise and perhaps a threat, you will wipe big, fat tears off of your cheeks. You will hand this book to someone you love and you'll say, please read this. I'm begging you so we can discuss. The person I did that to was my husband, Matthew, and his youth could not have been any more different than mine. And he still read it and said, I know exactly what you mean about this book. It's just, and then we just nodded at each other. Is this description too vague? Okay, good. I'm glad. You don't need to know what it's about, but if you're going to whine about it, fine. I'll tell you. The main character goes to college, meets a group of like intellectual guys, you know the type, who kind of nag her, kind of objectify her, kind of thrill her. She dates one, breaks up with him, realizes that she loves the other guy, but that second guy also doesn't want to hurt like his best friend. And they're all so young, and it's so messy, even though it could be so simple. And decades later, that entanglement resurfaces, and who amongst us has not hurt or been hurt by someone when we were young and stupid? And for me, the bones of the boys that I chewed up and spit out are strewn across this nation. And if you are one of them watching this, because yes, I assume that you're all still in love with me, I'm sorry. I still think about it. And I read this book and I thought about you. Moving on, Guided by Laura Lynn Jackson is the third book by the medium who changed my life. More on that in this Substack essay that we will link to in the episode description. She changed my life. She'll be on the podcast on 11/11. Save the date. If you believe in signs from the other side, if you believe in glimmers, spirit guides, this book is for you. And if you don't believe that, well, maybe this book isn't for you, but I would like you to read it because really it's about awareness and it's about kind of like the magic and the light in all things. And, believing in things gives our life meaning. And we talked about that with Stephen Heine in an episode of the podcast. There's a video on here as well about that, but it's a very comforting book. And if you want to live a life that feels more connected to something bigger than you, I think you would enjoy it. Now, when I think of cozy books, I do think of audiobooks a lot of the times. And I think of books by McInerny. I just listened to Clowntown. It is part of the Slow Horses series. It's dark. It's cozy. It's about espionage. It's narrated by a British man. When I hear a British man's voice, I say, well, that person's smart. I want to go drink some tea with them. It always feels good to me to like immerse myself in that world and listen to these audiobooks. If you haven't watched Slow Horses, what is Slow Horses on? I want to say Apple TV. If you haven't watched Slow Horses on Apple TV, go do that. You can still listen to the books. And if you have, go listen to the books also. Like, it just feels like they really like supplement each other. Now I'm listening ahead to seasons that haven't even happened. And guess what? I'll forget it all anyways. So what does it matter? Okay, this book isn't out yet. I read this as an ARC. It's called Murder Bimbo. It really feels like a book for these times. The protagonist is a sex worker turned assassin who has killed a prominent and polarizing politician. Wow, that's some alliteration. This novel is her confession, part one. She is confessing via email to her favorite podcaster and telling this podcaster how she was pulled into a scheme by people that she believed to be in intelligence services. And in part two, she is confessing via email to her ex, telling her that she joined a group of neo-Nazis willingly to commit this assassination that her ex would approve of because it aligns with her ex's politics. And in part three, she is telling us the truth, I guess. It's a good story. I couldn't get fully into it. And I don't know if that's just because I was like a little bit stressed out this month, or I honestly think it's because epistolary format does not work for me in email. I've read a lot of emails. I've sent a lot of emails. I've sent a lot of like very, very juicy emails throughout my life where, yes, I did, pour out a life story, but, they never sounded like a novel. And this still sounds like a novel, just with like an email header at the top. But I think it's a very interesting concept. I think it's an interesting exploration of, motivation, truth, why we do things. It's also literary fiction. And this might be like sort of like an intellectual insecurity of mine. But sometimes I just read books like that and I say, well, someone's going to get that on a deeper level than I do, but it wasn't me. All right. Back to nonfiction. We have Your Brain on Altruism by Nicole Carless. This is a very nice, soothing piece of nonfiction for trying times. And we are in trying times. Maybe we should force people who are celebrating the loss of SNAP benefits to read this book, because guess what? Doing kind things for other people is not just good for the people you're doing them for. It is good for you. So maybe if we reposition a human decency, basic human kindness as selfishness, it could take off. I don't know. Sorry, this book is not about despair, but if you are a person who believes in the power of connection and altruism, this book will reassure you that you are doing amazing, sweetie.
Go, Kylie, go. Good job, Kylie. You're doing amazing, sweetie. Wow, look at her go.
All right, finally, we have The 3 Lives of Kate K. I guess this is for fans of like The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo or whatever that was called. Kate K is a smashingly successful novelist who is publishing under a pen name and living in anonymity because she's running from her past. That's one of her lives. And the other life is that she almost had love once, but she messed it up. And this novel is Kate K's memoir, essentially, about her coming clean about all of it. There were some clunky parts, like how can a memoir that's like really a novel, but is pretending to be a memoir, switch point of views? Like that's not a memoir. If like someone else is writing a chapter. And then there were like a lot of footnotes that I didn't love, but overall the story did keep me hooked. The story kept me locked in. And especially the first of her lives, where she's a teenager and she's in one of those intense female friendships that, teeters on love, like romantic love, that felt very real to me. And, it was good. That was a good one. So wasn't my heaviest reading month, but that is what I read in the month of October. I round these up every month. I do it here. I do it over on the Substack. Over on the Substack, I give away several of these books. I do get a lot of ARCs from publishers. I do buy a lot of books, and I can't keep them all, even though obviously I try to keep every book that I can. There's only so much space that I have, and I am looking at piles off screen. So I'll be back next month with another reading roundup. But in the meantime, you can listen to our podcast, Thanks for Asking, wherever you get podcasts. We also have episodes over here as well on YouTube and a bunch of random videos. Thank you for being here. You're the best.